One of the best ways to grow your group is to run a free challenge. It's a great way to have other people help you advertise the group and to get people into the group.
Hello and welcome to the Small Business Sewing Podcast. Join host Cathleen, that's me, from Sunny Mountain Patterns, and Branalyn from Dailey Sews and Stuff, and guest experts as we discuss how to run successful sewing businesses, innovations in sewing, and ways to make more money doing what you love. Hi and welcome. Today we have Lily Wu, who built a customer Facebook group of over 50,000 members in just a few short years. She's amazing and she's got so much advice. I already talked to her about our own Facebook group, which you may notice some of the things we use, like collecting email addresses, if you've tried to join. Our Facebook group is the Small Business Sewing Community, by the way. So Lily, welcome. Please tell us your story of how you started this.
Thanks so much for having me. I kind of call myself an accidental Facebook group guru because I was an early adopter of Facebook groups. I started creating them for, just all my hobbies. And over the years, I've handed off a lot of them to other people. But one of them that I created, the largest one that I have right now, I created it because I had been struggling to get pregnant for like 3-4 years. And a doctor diagnosed me with Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune thyroid condition. And she put me on this like crazy diet that, eliminated like 90% of what I ate. And I thought, okay, I'm going to need support to do this. And if I need support, there has to be other people out there that also need support. So I started this group and now it's grown to over 53,000 people in the group. And I'm able to serve them by providing them information. I've created a course that they can join to kickstart their, healing journey. And also I provide, products that would support their healing as well.
To be clear, this is a Facebook group that provides and serves members, yeah. But you also can make income off of it because you're providing such needed and desired services.
Yes.
How did you grow it? Or is that too big of a question?
You know what? I truly believe that niches are really where it's at. If you find something that is niche enough that people are interested in and you are serving people with lots of value and tips and help, it just spreads by wildfire. Like I have never, advertised this group. I personally never even shared the group, but people just found so much help from it that they were sharing it. And it just grew organically, because it's such a specific thing and it's just such a challenging diet that you need support on it. So that's how it grew.
And Hashimoto, I have a friend who has Hashimoto's, and it's such a all-inclusive thing too. Like it affects so much of your life. So I can see it. It seems very obvious to me why people would want support, and seek that out and be able to find that.
Exactly. And unfortunately, autoimmune disease is on the rise. And so there are just more people that are looking to heal naturally, through food and lifestyle changes versus, medication, which has a time and place as well. But I have, other ideas for growing your groups, if that's something you're interested in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the best ways to grow your group is to run a free challenge. It's a great way to have other people help you advertise the group and to get people into the group. And, I haven't done that in this specific group, but I've done it in some of my smaller groups. And, what's awesome is that, to get people in, you don't have to spend any money. You can give them, a free and Kathleen, I know you've done this before. You can give them, a free download, a freebie that is digital as, like a prize for joining. And, the prizes that you hand out for these challenges don't need to be, big. They can be, smaller, gift cards and things like that. But the key is to make the challenge really specific to the type of person that you're serving in your group. And you want to make it something where at the end of the challenge, they experience some sort of transformation that they can put a finger on, so like, I now sell some weight loss products. And so I'll be starting a challenge, and I want to have people hit a certain goal by the end. You want to make it anywhere between 7 to 21 days. That's kind of the ideal spot or length for a challenge. And, just help them to actually see a transformation by the end so that they get really excited and maybe they'll want to do another one. You can switch it up and have different challenges going at different times of the year in your group.
I'm wondering how somebody who sews garments could do a challenge, maybe like a closet clean out challenge, or make your own capsule wardrobe, or build your capsule wardrobe with my garments challenge. Might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Or it could be like, show me your outfit with the color red. Show me that you bought from me, or whatever it could be. Like,
yeah, I'm actually in this other group where they were trying to help you launch a business. And so what they did was they had you go through your house and find all these things that you no longer needed or used. And this was part of the challenge, and sell it so that you could have the funds to buy this training course. But maybe you do that so that you have the funds to buy like the most awesome serger on the planet or something like that.
Right. That's if you have like a sewing type of group rather than a customer buying a product type of group, because there's all sorts of businesses you can have that involve sewing or making things. Right. That's true. There's all sorts of ideas. Just keep your mind open on what would be a good challenge.
It could also be like, show me this particular shirt 2 different ways or something.
Yeah,
like you can come up with all sorts of different ways.
Like wearing like the same sweater every day for a month challenge. And like they do it on Instagram type of thing. And they're like, okay, I'm starting to get tired. I'm wearing it as a skirt today. It's a belt. It's a
head wrap.
Head wrap. Yeah. She had a head wrap. It was interesting to see all of the different ways she could wear one sweater. I think I'm doing a sewing challenge right now where it's 6 weeks and you get a free pattern every week and instructions. And might have been enough more than I can chew because I have to make the pattern and the instructions while I'm trying to do everything else, plus the podcast, plus editing. Yeah, like next week, it's going to be way more like I'm hand drawing the instructions. Because it's so much easier. Yeah, and I'm just filming all in one shot. I'm like, no editing. If there's dog barking, too bad.
I once was in a quilting challenge, and each week we did a block. And by the end of the month, we had 4 blocks to put together into this cute little wall hanging.
Oh, yeah. So you can do a big project and then just have it released the parts that you need. Like it's a little hard for me to do because it's children's garments, but like for quilting, like, no, you only stitch one stitch today.
Yeah. Or maybe a whole outfit, you could have like sew like a hairband, you sew a shirt, you sew a skirt.
The bummies. Yeah. And then like, I don't know, that's 3 weeks.
Yeah. And then maybe like a little purse or something.
Yeah. Just start adding on accessories.
Like in quilting, you don't always do like a week, like you said. A lot of times there's block of the month clubs. So you could do like garment of the month club kind of a thing.
Oh, that's true. Some people do. I have to get more patterns out to be able to do that, or else like nobody would need to buy from my shop. They could just wait for the patterns to come in.
It's a subscription membership.
Yeah. Yes. So my Facebook group is free. So it's not helpful. So what other ideas do you have for generating, if you're starting off with a small group like we are, to get more of the right type of member that's interested in your niche to come in?
Well, I don't know if you have a Facebook page, but if you do, going live and giving tips on your Facebook page is a really great way to do it, because then people can share that content out. You can have a call to action to tell people to share it as well. And, just direct them to like, hey, if you enjoy these tips, join our group because you'll learn so much more. And Facebook pages, are actually search engine optimized. Like Google can't search your group, but it can search your page. And so, make sure you've got good keywords there, and really going live. Live video is the way to go right now at the time of this recording.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Because I have the daily sews and stuff side of things. And then we also have the small business sewing podcast side of things. And we've been on both. I've been active in the group, but I haven't been as active on my page. And so that was something I hadn't thought through well, but that's a really great idea to go live on the page side of things.
You can even, take that video and like chop it up and turn it into Instagram Reels. You can upload it to TikTok. You can repurpose that. You can take, one or two quotes from your live and turn them into, those like pretty little images that you put on Instagram, or, you can share them in different places on Pinterest. There's just, once you do a live, you can just chop it up and repurpose that content many different ways.
And I don't think you can do this whenever you record a live on your like personal page, but when I have actually done a live before as my Facebook page, and when you do that, you can save it to your phone.
I think even on your personal page, you should be able to download it. If not, like you could use Zoom or some other screen, recording software to capture it and then save it.
Do you remember what the video length limit on Pinterest is? Because I'm trying to upload like tutorials and it's like, no, we don't do that.
I haven't done it in a while. And last time I did it, I think it was like a minute, but
okay.
I know things change so quickly.
I'll have to Google that. If you're listening to this, please Google that and then let me know. Join our Facebook group and let me know, because I need to know this. So we have, for growing, if you're not in a super niche, in-demand market that no one else is in, you can run a free challenge in which you give a free download as a prize for joining, which costs you virtually nothing except the time to make it. Make it specific to who you're serving. Make it so that at the end of the challenge, usually 7 to 21 days, they'll have some visible results, and have them invite other people, and then also do Facebook Lives on your Facebook page and with calls to action to invite or share. And then you can repurpose all of that video clips in other social media areas.
And I don't know how active you guys are on your personal Facebook profile, but you could also use your personal profile cover as like an opt-in almost, so you could have something on your personal Facebook cover that says like interested in learning about, and then like when they click that cover photo, it can have a link to your group. You could even, make it look like it's clickable, add a button. And so they'll click and then they'll see the description with a link to your group.
How long did it take you to start seeing growth whenever you first started your group?
Since I was an accidental Facebook group person, I really didn't track those metrics. And back then when, groups first started, they didn't really give you metrics like that.
By the way, if you're listening to this, back then is like a couple of years. It's not like back in the old days.
When I walked to school.
Maybe 2005 when I first got Facebook.
Yeah,
but it's not like, the 1980s. No, she's like the last couple of years back then.
Back then. Way back then.
It feels like forever though.
It does.
Last week lasted a month, so I understand.
The short answer is you don't really know.
I'm not sure.
And that's okay.
Right now, I am getting a couple hundred people each month, like anywhere between 500 to 700 people a month.
So you're looking at like maybe 0.5% growth every month.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good if you're considering it's like 6% growth. And if, it's exponential, it's not linear. After a certain amount of time, you get so many people that are loving your group and are participating, and they're getting so much value that they're recommending it to other people. Which is a point I would love to be at without you having to say anything.
Yeah.
Asking them to do that. You just have to keep going, right?
You just have to keep going.
You have to have that blind faith and belief that what you're doing is going to help people. It's providing something needed, not just that you're going to benefit from it.
Exactly. Yes. You go into it with a serving heart and, you attract people.
Right. And it's not in a woo-woo kind of way. It's like, it's really that know, like, and trust factor.
Yes.
that I keep harping on. Branalyn's nodding her head. I'm totally taking over this. Sorry. Because I have gotten so much value out of other people providing value that, it makes so much sense to do that, you want a lifetime customer.
Yes.
Or fan, as it were. You don't want a one-time purchase.
Exactly.
Okay, so with so many people in your group, we are assuming that you have some help with admin and moderation. Is that
I I do have a couple moderators. They're like super, super, super part-time because I've kind of trained my members to like know what to do. You see a spammer, report it, and I'll take it down. I have pretty specific rules like, hey, these are things that you're not allowed to talk about. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about vaccines. And the members just know, like, if they see it, they report it and I take it down. So I think that it's really important to have a really good welcome message pinned at the top as the announcement. Even better if you can record a video to explain it all, then that's even better. That's something I'm planning to do that I haven't gotten around to yet. Just have a really great, this is where you get started. Hey, every new member, come read this. And every week when you are inviting or accepting new members into your group, do a welcome post, that tags them. Facebook makes it really easy for you to automatically tag them in a welcome post now. And just say hey, hi, I'm Lily. I created the group and I just want to make sure you go look at the pinned post at the top with all the rules and, feel free to message me if you have any questions, but
if you're not Lily, don't say hi, I'm Lily.
Yes.
Use your actual name. Insert name here. I actually have a question about that because I saw that one time in my group to welcome new members, and then I've never been able to see it again. I know we're getting the nitty gritty, but I need to know this. Where is that?
Okay, let me open up.
I'm totally going to Facebook right now. Do this with us.
Yes, you have to click on the members tab.
All right, I'm opening up Facebook. So if you have a Facebook group, go ahead and do this with us.
Let me interject that we're doing this from the computer, and you can do a lot of these things from your phone, but not all the things. There's a lot of things that are easier to do from your computer.
Yeah. So go to your computer. We'll wait. Go. We'll wait. If you're from Hawaii, you understand that because it's a joke from a comedian from the 1980s.
Okay.
If you're from Hawaii and you remember the 1980s.
Yes. He did a cooking show as a lady. He's like, empty weight. Go. Write them down. Anyway. Okay. So we're going to the group and in the admin
no, actually just on the regular page at the top, it has about discussion guides, announcements, rooms, and members. You click on members.
Oh.
And then you'll see on the top right, it says new members this week. And then it says write welcome post.
Ah.
You get one chance to do it. So once you click it, you cannot tag those people again. And I learned the hard way, you cannot edit that post either.
So don't make any
mistakes. So whatever you want to say there, make sure it's exactly what you want to say and then click post.
Okay. And it's only for that week. So next week, if you get different members, it clears out those old members. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to, if you want to do that type of interaction of welcoming, you have to catch it every week.
Yep.
But you can make it like, this is what I do every Sunday or every Monday or whatever day it resets.
Exactly.
And you could probably just copy and paste the same message.
You could, or, I like to ask a question I try to, because you're trying to build the know, like, trust, like you mentioned. And so when I tag them, I'll tell them a little bit about myself, and I try to make it different each time. Like, hey, I'm a mom of 2 and I have a dog, and, this is my pet peeve, or this is my favorite thing, or this is my favorite food. What's your favorite food? Or, what's your favorite place to, vacation, or, depending on the time of year, you can talk about different things.
And your niche.
Yeah, exactly. And niche. And so you're trying to get interaction, and you want to, get them to, interact with you and feel like, oh, hey, like they're talking to me, they're welcoming me to the group.
So your biggest tip there is to basically, I'm sorry, I'm going to go classroom management here, but to have good policy and procedures that they understand, and people are going to follow along. But in addition, you said you do have a couple moderators that are part-time. And so my follow-up to that is, how did you choose who would be trusted to be these moderators along with you?
Some of them they were people that I saw they were, active in the group, and I liked what they were saying. They weren't like active trolls or anything. They were positive, they were helpful. And so
Active in
I
a good
reached out
way.
and said like, hey, it looks like you're hanging out in the group a lot. You want to be a moderator too?
Yeah.
And sometimes they say yes, and sometimes they say no.
And so have you ever come across, like, you've asked somebody to be a moderator and they accept, but then, they maybe aren't moderating the way you would want them to? Like, how, I guess, do you train them? And like, what do you do if somebody's like being way too strict, or,
I haven't come across that. I'm pretty laid back when it comes to it. Like, I haven't really had that issue. But one of the things about having such a big group is that something's posted and then like 2 seconds later, it's like pushed like 40 posts down the feed, And so if, sometimes I'll have to turn off commenting on certain things. And once you turn off comments, it's gone. It's like so far down the feed. So.
Yeah. I know. I just, one of the groups that I'm in as a member, I feel like there's this one moderator who has these very strict way of doing things, but all the other admins and moderators are not. And so I just sort of wonder behind the scenes how that interaction goes.
I think some people, might reach out to them and say, hey, maybe you could be a little more relaxed, or, it depends on the group leader.
Yeah. And on top of that, like, who has time to do that strict monitoring? If you've got that many members, you don't.
Yeah.
But the great thing about having so many people is that somebody can ask a question and you're not the one who has to answer it. You can have somebody else answer with their opinion. And it's generally accepted that Facebook group answers are opinions and advice, not advice, but like a sounding board, not specifically, oh, this is business advice, or this is like tax advice, or for business owners, or health advice. It's just other people sharing their experience and giving opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the goal is to not be the one that's always posting and commenting.
Right, that's my goal too.
Yeah.
But so if you sell the garment yourself, if you sell garments, physical product, having a Facebook group is good, because then you can have either people who are sharing that they love your product with other friends and they can invite them to the group, or you have questions about, say, sizing or material type, or whether the color is true to how it shows up on your website. And you don't have to answer that. Somebody else can, and it's from a customer, so it's even more convincing.
Yes.
Well, the same is true of like pattern groups too.
Yep. Yeah, totally. I actually have a customer group where it has grown big enough so that other people are sharing their success stories. Like, I hardly ever post in that group, and people are, just sharing their success stories. And then when they ask questions about a product, oftentimes other people will answer. One great tip is also to use the units or the guides. They've renamed it in some places and not others, where you can have an FAQs section. And so if people are asking the same question over and over, just, make a new post in there and, direct people, oh, that's a great question. It's in our, unit too.
Yeah. So I think you sort of just answered this a little bit, but I'm going to ask it and see if you have any additional parts of that answer. How do you keep, so you've got these groups and it's great and you're being interactive and you want to be interactive, but at the same time, how do you keep from being on your phone all the time and still being able to go do your mom things and your whatever else things?
One of the biggest things that helped me, especially when starting a group, is having a content calendar. And that really helps me to, follow the 80-20 rule, so that I'm providing, value 80% of the time and only selling 20% of the time. It helps the members to know what to expect, and it just makes it easier for me to create content so that I can batch the content, like, at the beginning of the month and just schedule it out. or, some people do it by week. And I have a free guide to creating 30 days of content if anyone's interested, just, as a tool for people, starting.
Yes, you said free. That's my favorite price.
Tell us where to find that.
You can go to my website, which is healthygreenguide.com. And then I've got a bunch of links there. And one of them is to to my free content calendar.
I'm going to go find it right now.
Okay. And I know you guys have more questions at the end. And one of the questions or answers I was going to give then, but I can give it now if you prefer.
Yeah, we might ask you again, but go ahead.
Okay. One of my biggest time-saving tips, which not a lot of people know about or use, are the keyword alerts.
That's what I was going to ask for.
Do you guys use that?
No, I don't know how to set that up.
Okay.
Oh, I do.
Settings,
but yeah.
And so what I do, because we all live busy lives, we have businesses to run, we can't spend all day hanging out in our groups. And so I set up keywords so that specific posts or, comments would alert me. I set up words like, help, admin, PM, DM, message, and things like, or, your name. You could set up your own name so that if, someone has a question, then it'll be alerted to you. In one of my groups, I sell natural cleaning products. And so I also set up, the names of the products. I set up the word order. I set up, cleaning clay, like laundry detergent, like magic glove, things like that. So that if someone is, interested in buying, like I'm there to help them. If they have a question, I want to answer them, so that they can buy. So that's been something that's really been helpful for me.
One of the groups that I help manage, which has nothing to do with sewing or business or any of these things, but we have a lot of keywords and not only words like you're saying, but words that we have known to cause contention in the past.
Yeah.
So that we can catch those early.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I have like vaccine set up in mine so I can go and delete those and just, all sorts of stuff. Because I'm like, no amount of you posting about any of these topics will change anyone's minds. So let's not talk about it here.
Yes.
And on top of that, if you let people do controversial things or contentious things or abusive things, Facebook doesn't like it. And your members are not going to like it because you don't like getting yelled at for something you strongly believe against or believe for. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And it's also in violation usually of your community rules that you've set up, which I think when you set up the Facebook group, you can click the box and be like, yes, I would like to just have the standard rules, which is, be kind to each other, be respectful, no abusive comments or posting.
Yeah.
But you can also create your own.
Right.
I created my own, and it's a blanket rule called be positive. And so if anyone posts something I don't like, I'll say, oh, that wasn't positive. Sorry.
I'm positive that was not right.
Yeah. And also when your group is small enough, turn on post approval. Like you don't need someone going into your group and saying, hey, this pattern didn't work for me. Like, how does it work? That's a private message. That's not a post that belongs in the group, So, while you can, I would definitely use post approval.
All right. So what kind of slightly going off topic here, but I think it relates. How do you make sure that the people you're letting into your group are real people and people that are going to benefit and be good in your group and not people just there to spam or bots or trolls or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, there's a fine line, I err on the side of letting them in and assuming my members will help me flag people that are spammers. But I've noticed a pattern with a lot of like these spammers or bots. I'm not even sure what they are. They answer the member questions the same. And so, and like their email address is always like the same format. It's always just like the name at gmail.com. And I'm like, really? You got Christy Lee at gmail.com? Wow, go you.
Amazing. Okay, so
I have my name. Yeah. But
yeah, now you know Branalyn's private Gmail account.
Oh, well.
Please don't bother her. Although she does like talking to people, so.
Oh, well.
So yeah, like I
Seems fake.
or I look at their profile. If you have time, look at their profile. They have one friend, and like, what I noticed for mine also, they were in the same 4 groups. It was like, and I was like, okay, everyone in those same 4 groups, they were not in any other groups. I would know, okay, these are the spammers. They're in the spammer group. So I would not let them in.
Or something like they've been on Facebook for a week, but they have 400 friends. And you're like, what?
That's true. Some groups actually have a rule. Your account must be, 1 year old, or, at least, whatever age they decide to use. And so that's another way to do it.
We've talked about a lot of things that you've learned to do. What are some things that you've learned are best to avoid?
Well, okay. So one of the things that I made a mistake when I first joined is that, I created it just as a support group. I didn't have a business back then. I wasn't selling anything. And so the group grew, and no one knew who I was. Like, it's just such a big group that no one knew who I was in the group anymore. And so I recommend branding the group so that people know that you are the group leaders. Like, as it grows, people see your smiling face. Like, put your photo in the group cover, have a welcome video with your face on it, do things so that people know, like, hey, this is their group. Like, I had one of my moderators actually tell me, like, I forget exactly what she said. She actually decided to step down as a moderator because she's like, oh, I don't consider it your group. I consider it like a public space for everyone. And I was like, okay, well, I've spent no less than, 40, hours a month moderating this group. So I think I'm the group leader, and, because I was telling her I was changing a rule or something like that. And so, just set guidelines. And start branding the group as yours so that, you help yourself build that know, like, trust factor quickly.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm in a quilting group where sometimes people will ask and they'll say, who is Angela? And I'm like, well, Angela Walters is the person who started this group. She's the YouTube videos that we're supposed to watch every week. Like, how do you, what? So that's a really good point.
Yeah, for the longest time, the Projectors for Sewing group, I thought Sasha Sewist was the person that started it. Because she comments so much, but she's amazing.
She's amazing. She is the guru of calibration, but Misty Poor is the person who started it.
Right, but she doesn't comment nearly as much. So that's an example how a Facebook group can get away from your purview or ownership, as it were.
Yeah,
because really, it's a Facebook group. It's like your house. You're inviting people over for a party or to talk. You want to be able to monitor that it's somewhere that's providing what you want it to provide.
Yeah. And if you have a Facebook group, then, make sure you link it so that, they're like, people will go back and forth between the two.
To your page, you mean?
To your page?
Yeah.
Okay. We're missing an important
to your
linking
Facebook page, to your page, because it's just easy. Sometimes it's easier to share the page than to share the group. They can invite people, but I've found the inviting thing to be a little glitchy sometimes, and invitations will expire as well.
And the invitation, if you have membership questions and somebody invites you to the group, then you have to choose to go answer those questions, and it doesn't always alert you to do that. And I don't know. I'm assuming you do this. If people don't answer the questions, you can filter by that, and you can just decline all of those.
Yes, you could do that. Or you can send them a message and say, hey, you were invited, but you didn't answer the questions. Can you go answer them? I really try not to decline people unless they're a bot or a spammer, because even if they don't give you their email address, invite them in, and then you can market to them, and then you can get their email address at a later date,
Okay, that was one of the tips you had given me, actually, was to add in a question with the email address. And I stupidly did this for the podcast Facebook group. I wrote, what's a good address for you? And I didn't think that somebody would think that meant like a physical mailing address. So our first member actually answered it with her mailing address. I was like, oh, no, we don't need that. Sorry, we're never mailing you anything that costs money.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, I was rolling this out going, why do you need my address?
It's nice that she trusted you enough to give
I
it.
know. Yes.
I did not mean no. I will never ask you for your physical mailing address unless I'm mailing you a prize. And that's a private message thing. Also, I've noted that you cannot actually get back the answers once you've approved them. So do you have a way of, other than manually typing in emails, if you're collecting emails, for example, to store that information?
That is another one of my answers for your 4 questions at the end, but I will.
Okay. You have to listen to the end to get that answer. No, you can answer. We'll reiterate.
Okay. So I use an extension that it's such a great time saver because it will take the email address and put it into onto your email list. Plus, it will take all the members' information from their name to, sometimes when you're looking at their request, it says like, oh, they live in Orlando, Florida. They work for, Advent Hospital. Whatever information is there, plus the answers to their questions, it will put it into a Google spreadsheet for you so that you have easy access to it. It will also automatically, and this is optional, but I do this, it will also automatically send them a welcome PM through Messenger that says, whatever you wanted to say. Hey, welcome. I'm Lily. I'm the, leader of the group. I'm so excited that you joined. Make sure you look at the pin post at the top so you can get started the right way. And if you have any questions, just let me know. When you get this, just, send me a quick reply, like a thumbs up or a smiley face or something, just to let me know you got it. And so that helps to A, build the know, like, trust factor. B, it gets the conversation going. And if they respond, you are now out of their message request folder. So in the future, if you need to contact them, it goes straight into their inbox.
That's
a
really good tip. Yeah.
By the way, I looked it up. It's on Lily's website, thehealthygreengguide.com. She does have a button for downloading that extension.
Yes.
So you might want to, if you're interested in that, you might want to go look at it because I think it's like an affiliate type of link.
Mm-hmm.
So that might help out Lily a little bit too. So if you got so much value from this and you want to help her out and you need the extension, go to her website and click on the link.
And we'll have her website in the show notes or in the description box.
Yeah. Should we ever get organized enough to have show notes? We will.
If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the description box.
Because Branalyn does that stuff. She's great at doing the YouTube stuff. I'm not. I just do the editing. Okay, so the extension's great to know
Shared
where to get it from. Yeah, that's why you do partnerships.
You said you try not to decline people, even if they haven't really answered the questions, because you want to make sure that you're providing that value. And I think at the size group that you're at, that's a really good way of thinking about it. And I think too, if your goal is to get customers and things, that's a really good. I think I was thinking from this other group that I help moderate where it's not about having customers. And so for us, it's more important to have the right kind of people in the group that aren't going to cause problems. And so I think that's very different. When you want to have customers, you're going to want to invite people in.
I mean, even for, groups that are more informational in purpose, I don't consider them not giving an email address, as an indication that they're not going to be the right type of member for my group. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then if they prove me wrong, then they get kicked out.
Yeah. The group that I'm talking about is a debate group. And so it can get very
debatey,
very bad it
can be argumentative.
Yes.
Debate is different from a shouting match, by the way.
Exactly. Yes.
So
that's very different.
Speaking of contentious and how do you kick out members? Do you let them know? Do you give them warning, or do you just kick them out and no message, they just don't receive?
Depending on the severity of the infraction, sometimes I will just mute them for a couple days. Sometimes I turn on post approval for them. But if they are flat out just rude, they don't belong here, I in my rules, I say you can get kicked out without warning. I don't give warning. I don't have time for warnings. So if you're that type of person, I just kick you out and I block you from ever joining again.
Okay. And I'm sure that there have been people that are very upset about getting ejected for egregious behavior. Let's use big words today.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're going to get that. I'm sure. Like, I just read a review, a local tea shop or bobo shop. I got a 1-star review because they asked her to please wear a mask in accordance with state law right now, because we're in COVID still. And she was upset because she's like, well, there's no one else here. I'm thinking, what about the staff? And the poor staff, they're all teenagers. So they're like, we've never had to deal with somebody yelling at us, like at the top of their lungs and calling us names and all this other stuff. So, I mean, it can even happen if you have a physical shop. You've got somebody that's uncooperative. So gird your loins.
Yep.
Is what I'm saying.
So, Kathleen had this question, and I know that Facebook does have a pause because I've done it before in that debate group, by the way. But so she was asking, can you close down or pause a group to give the admins a break? And so, well, I know that you can. Have you ever done that? What was it like? Did it drop things off when you came back?
I haven't done that. I haven't had the need to ever do that.
So yeah,
So we need to ask somebody else, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
The debate group.
No, ask Branalyn, because Branalyn's done it. So we need to ask somebody else. Branalyn, how did that work out for you?
The debate group is not about selling things. It's not about customers. It's so it's very, very different in nature. But it does have a pause function, and you can basically just close down the group we did for Christmas and New Year's, because all of us were like, we can't. We need a break. And then you just start it back up. But I do think that Facebook took it out of the algorithm a little bit, because even after we turned everything back on and started the group again, there was a lot less involvement. So I would be very, very cautious with that, because I think it will affect, how it shows up in people's feed and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I mean, if you ever really needed to really take a break, I would just keep post approval on, and people can post.
Then you just don't approve
stuff, but they can't post anything new.
That's a good idea. What about closing down a Facebook group? Say you're like, oh, this is not working out, or I do not want to do this anymore.
They make it hard to do. You have to kick everyone out, and then you can archive the group, and then you can delete it. And so I have had groups where I just, it's just gone inactive, and it's just out there in the abyss.
Like a little lost child.
Yeah. I mean, you can even step down as the admin, and then I think once there's no admin for a couple, like 30 days or something like that, then Facebook might shut it down. But I just never took the time to really look into that.
Okay. So you might try the shut down by neglect approach.
Yes.
If that's the case.
It atrophies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're going into this going, I don't really know if I want to start one, because I don't know if I want to maintain it for years on end, you can just neglect it and then see what happens. It's a Facebook group. It's a free group. People are joining. It's like a membership, like a discount membership group that no one pays for. Like, who's going to argue, hey, you didn't maintain your Facebook group?
Yeah.
She's like, well, sorry, I forgot about it.
Even Facebook pages, you don't have, just because you start the Facebook page doesn't mean you have to keep up with it either.
It's true.
Although you should. But yeah, Facebook's totally littered with abandoned property, as it were.
Right. Well, no, if you're still active and wanting to sell, then you definitely need to pay attention to it. But if you just start the page and then you don't have that business any longer later, you can just let it go.
Leave it be.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Kathleen, did we hit all these questions? Because we had so many, but I think we might have hit them all.
I know Lily's so good at just getting like specific points out. I really hope that she does a course, because we will totally recommend it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So,
yes, we have one. Very good
okay.
one that will be very useful. And we should have started off doing that. But what advice do you have for others wanting to start a community for their customers? Where should they start? Aside from actually opening one.
Okay. Well, I would think about Well, I mean, if you already have a business, then you should have an ideal customer in mind. And so I would pick a name that would, speak to them, a name that they would search, right? Don't make it some cute thing that's like a word that no one knows how to spell, right? Just maybe make it like to the point, moms over 40, weight loss for moms over 40, or whatever it is, right? And make sure that when you are creating the group, in your group description, put your I help statement in there. I help women over 40 lose weight without going to the gym, right? That because people will look at your group and they'll spend maybe 5-10 seconds deciding if they want to join your group. And so you want to make it compelling. You want to make it something that they will say, okay, this will help me and I want to join it. And so that's my biggest advice for people looking to start a group. Make sure you know who you're talking to. Every post that you create is to talk to that person and serve that person. And then, you'll get the right members in there.
All right.
Branalyn, we have to go change our description. Yeah, we're ready. We got to go change our description. We need to put I help or we help.
We wrote that very quickly, and we need to go put some real thought into that.
Yeah, but you can change that, can't you?
Yeah, you can change it.
Before I know Branalyn's trying to nudge us along.
I'm sorry. It's
Today
been
she's
an hour.
Business.
I'm sorry.
What gives?
But it has been an hour, and Lily said she needed to go get her kids, and I have to go get mine too. So
important.
All right, let's wrap this up a little bit. So the 4 questions that we end with here. Lily, you have given us so many already, but do you have any time-saving tips left?
I think those are the ones that I use most. The last thing that I have advice is that if you respond if you respond to comments on your phone a lot, then if there are, words or phrases or even whole sentences and messages that you type out a lot, go into your text replacement and put that in. And so I never type my email address anymore. I type out 3 characters and it populates my email address, or your website, right? If people are like, hey, where can I go where can I go buy this thing, right? I type out 3 letters and that's my shop, so that's.
If I type out DSS, it comes up youtube.com/Dailey Sews and Stuff. Or if I type @G, my email @G is my Gmail email.
Yes. Like I have whole, in Etsy, they have snippets that you can save to respond to customers. And I have whole paragraphs of things saved in my phone so that I don't have to type it out.
And you can also make a note in your notes, and then you can just go copy and paste what you've got written there. All right. So this doesn't relate to the huge group necessarily, but you do have some customers in that group, and then you have other groups with customers. So how do you price things?
For the courses that I have, they're really based on how long I've been running them, right? If they're kind of a new course, and I give an intro price, and if it's a longer course, they cost more. And then for the printables, I guess I just think about how much value they'll get from it, or, any digital file, how much value will they get from it? Is it reusable? Is it something that they can use for years and years? And if so, then, it's a little more expensive. But if it's a one time, this is the year that I'm going to use it and I probably won't use it again, then I try to make it pretty affordable. And I try to price it so that it's kind of a no-brainer. Anyone will drop $5, $6, $7 without really thinking about it too much.
Is there, again, you've kind of answered this one and given some great tips already, but is there anything else you want to add to what do you automate?
That extension for membership approval is my favorite thing. The only other thing that I kind of automate are the posts. I use SynthShare, and I schedule it out, and I just have it post there. But you can also schedule it right in Facebook, and then just have it done, and then it posts for you.
If you make a lot of graphics and you already pay for Canva does that now too. And then the very last thing, and this is super important, so let's make sure we get this one right. Where can people find you?
You can find me. My personal profile is facebook.com/the_Lily and the number 1. Or you can go to my group. If you're interested in autoimmune diets or healing autoimmune issues, it's the Facebook group is, at AIP Diet, but the whole name is AIP Elimination Diet Support Group. You can also find me at the Healthy Green Guide on Instagram and also on Facebook, and also my website.
And if you do have an autoimmune disease and you're using your body to make products or make digital products or teach or whatever else you're doing, you need your body to be healthy. So that's a really good thing to do. All right, Miss Kathleen, do you have anything that we've forgotten? Oh, our question for our viewers. So if you would go join us at the Small Business Sewing Community Facebook group, we would love for you to answer the question this week. What was your favorite tip you learned today, and how are you going to implement it? I feel like there are so many that we could have as an answer, and I don't know that I could choose just one, but go over and answer that question, and we will see what all we have learned from Lily. Thank you, Lily. You have been amazing.
You're welcome.
We learned so much today. This, even if we don't release it, this was 100% useful for us.
Right?
We really just started the podcast so we could talk to people and find out how they do things.
We're not actually going to release this episode. We're just going to do all the things
we're going to keep it all to ourselves. So this has been Kathleen with Sunny Mountain Patterns. I forgot my name. Shop name. Branalyn, Dailey from Dailey Sews and Stuff, with Lily Wu from the Healthy Green Guide, talking about how to build and manage a humongous customer Facebook group.
Yes, and it was so very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's very helpful. You've been listening to the Small Business. You've been listening to the Small Business Sewing Podcast. Thanks. Okay, bye.